that's another thing that came from the Olympics, and you can literally see your finger through here, which is kind of wild. And then, of course, you have the cup on the heel.
Well, it holds the heel in, it locks you in, and that really gives you the ankle stability that you're looking for, because the heel lock prohibits your ankle from sliding around. So it locks you in, and you're not going to, somebody crosses you up, something like that. That's on you. See what I'm saying? But outside of that, you're well protected.
And then let's talk about around your ankle. There is support.
There is support. There is support, particularly as it cuts underneath the ankle. You have some cushioning there that provides some stability for you. And one other point that I want to make about the shoe is we wanted to. My vision for a shoe is to have it be one and the same with the foot. Let me know if I'm getting too techy, because I'm really into this stuff. Normally with a basketball shoes, when you cut or when you change directions, you'll feel your foot slide in the shoe. You feel it slide in the shoe. And what I want to do is I wanted to stop that, because if your foot is sliding, that means you're losing valuable time. You're losing seconds to change directions. So I wanted a shoe that was going to almost become one and the same with the foot itself. This way you're not losing that time. It's right there with you.
And by the way,
y'all ain't got to worry about that. Y'all good.
We're at school. We're at Westchester High School for those folks around the world watching this, and it's time to go to class for some of the
y'all
folks.
ain't got to worry about that. Y'all good.
Another thing that's interesting, is that with that shoe, you love, you love soccer. And there is kind of a soccer element that made you think about
soccer, if you watch soccer, they put a lot more torque on their ankles than we do as basketball players. But their shoes are lower cut than this shoe. And so it kind of gave the vision, it kind of prompted the vision of mine to play in a low-cut shoe.
Ronaldinho wears a very low-cut shoe, and
that's
that's your guy.
That he does.
All right, let's take a quick question from online, and this is from Anthony G. I think most people started, I guess he meant to say, playing the game in a low-cut shoe. How does this shoe give you a simple, less is more approach to the game?
Well, we've always kind of been on that model, particularly as it pertains to designing shoes. We always felt like the simple solution, a lot of times, is the best solution. And all of my shoes have always been pretty clean cut. The technology's simple to understand, although difficult to implement. It's still pretty basic.
And this will help you with your hard work if you're out there working hard.
Well, you know what, though? Really, the shoe, like people say, shoes make you jump higher, make you run faster. This shoe will make you jump higher, will make you run faster, because it doesn't weigh that much. It's just simple. It's just simple math. The shoe is extremely light, doesn't weigh anything at all, and it should make you a little faster because of it.
What made you choose the sole right here?
The design of the sole?
Yeah. What made you choose that?
Well, that came from the inspiration from the movie Spider-Man, actually, because there's a great scene, imagery in the scene where he's I don't know, he's called Bad Spider-Man or whatever. He had a black suit on, whatever it was, and he was struggling to take the suit off, and he couldn't get it off because it was a part of him, and that got my brain into thinking about the shoe and being one with the foot, having to be one and the same, and it's not, you can't separate them. As we talked about earlier, the changing the directions and losing seconds, that's what I wanted to get from the shoe. That's why they put that design in there, because that's what inspired me to come up with that concept.
And by the way, this will be your shoe at home for home games, right?
Yes, it is. Okay,
we're going to break out the others, but first let's take a question from here. Do we have a member of the media who wanted to ask? Do we have a question from here? Oh, there we go, right here. Young man, you have a question?
What made you decide that low top will help you improve your game instead of high top?
Well, I think some of the things that we discussed, but it's the weight of the shoe. I always look to go for a shoe that's lighter. This way, I feel like it'll increase my reaction time and speed, et cetera, et cetera. And that was the original basis of why I wanted to go to a low-cut shoe. The other reason was to have the foot move in its natural state, as opposed to being restricted by a hot top. You can actually change directions. The foot can move as it was intended to move. So those are the two reasons why I decided to go to a lower cut.
Let's take another question from here in the audience.
Aaron Phillips with Dime Magazine. My question is, you've been in the league for a long time now, coming off an MVP season. Why now, switch to a low-cut shoe? Most people would say, why fix what's not broken?
Because you're always looking to get better. You know what I mean? You can apply that to your game, too. You have a good season, or whatever it may be, and you rest on your laurels. You say, okay, I don't want to get any better. I'm comfortable staying where I am. Or you continue to push the envelope and continue to get better. Tiger Woods was winning, I don't know how many Masters, decided to change his stroke, change his swing. Why? Because he felt like he can get better. And, being at Nike and being with the designers that I'm around, you have that opportunity right there in front of yourself to make the technology better, to increase the shoe. So that's what we decided to do.
And by the way, speaking of getting better, I know this summer we were out to dinner with a mutual friend of ours, and we called you and you said, come on out, have a steak. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock. We were like, come out, Cole, have a steak. You were like, no, I'm getting ready to go work out. We're like, what? It's 10 o'clock on a Friday night. What do you mean you're going to work out? You're like, no, I got work to do.
I got some business to do.
Yeah, you did have business to do. Got another question from over here.
Hey, thank you. You seem very enthusiastic about the technological aspect of the shoe. Do you ever have to stop and just sort of think about how you're going to infuse Kobe Bryant's personal style into the shoe so that it still is marketable and the kids like it?
No.
Well,